So good morning everyone. We are moving to Unit 2 where more details on IoT protocols will be covered. So let's have a quick review on where exactly these protocols are used. So we are following this model where at the top we have application layer protocols and then presentation session layer. So this session layer is taking care of communication sessions with the machine to machine communication and so on. So transport layer, there is not much change. TCP and UDP works fine. Whereas in network layer, we have some modifications for the existing IP protocol, some encapsulation we are doing. And data link, there are whole lot of protocols for IoT. So we will start in a top-down approach. That means first we will be looking at the session layer protocol, then we will move to transport layer and so on. So to get started with session layer is actually implemented along with the application layer. So most of the application layer protocols belong to the session layer as well. So these are some popular application layer protocol or session layer protocol used with IoT. We have HTTP, COAP, MQTT, XMPP, DDS, AQM, MQP and so on. There are many more yet to be listed. We will be looking at MQTT first, then we'll move to COAP, XMPP and so on. Okay, so that is a plan for Unit 2. So this figure shows some more detailed view on the placement of protocols at respective layers. Session, network, data link. Here they have not shown the transport layer, but in transport layer we have TCP and UDP working. There is no difference in that. So in network layer we have this IPv6 based low power personal area network and many other encapsulation and the standard routing protocols. Okay, this is how we are going ahead. Now let us get started with MQTT, Message Queue Telemetry Protocol, which is used in most of the IoT applications. MQTT stands for Message Queue Telemetry Protocol. Tele means remote. It's actually remote measurements. That means our sensors will be at remote locations, and how are we going to get the measurements from the sensor in form of a message. So we know that message transmission, a message is an encapsulated version. Message will have a sender ID, receiver ID and so on. It's actually an encapsulated version. So they will queue up one after the other. So that is how the term comes, Message Queue Telemetry Protocol. Telemetry means remote measurements. So what are the key facts about MQTT? It's a machine-to-machine connectivity protocol. Machine means it could be a sensor talking to a gateway or two gateways communicating. So there is no human intervention. Okay, so it is invented by scientists from IBM and another company, Eurotech, in 1999. And there is a standard known as OASIS. OASIS standard for MQTT, and there is also ISO standard. So these standards defines the interfaces and the mode of communication to be used, and it is available in public domain. Anybody who wants to use MQTT in their application, they can use it. The code is available, different implementations are available, and it is royalty free also. You don't have to pay anything to use MQTT standards. And it's currently used by Amazon Web Services. Facebook uses MQTT, WebSphere MQTT, and Microsoft Azure IoT. Everybody is making use of this MQTT in their messaging. What are the features? So the code is very small in size, and it's best suited for a processor which has got very less memory and power supply is also minimal, like our IoT devices. And also it can operate on a very low bandwidth network, which is unreliable too. And it uses publish subscribe message exchange pattern. This we are going to see in detail. It is not the actual client server model. It's a publish subscribe methodology. Next, you can define the quality of service, and as usual it works on TCP/IP, the traditional transport layer protocols, and you can define the quality of service at most once, at least once, and exactly once, or for the message delivery. And client libraries for Android, Arduino, etc. are available. So it's not a difficult task to implement something in Arduino to make use of MQTT features. You can have Android applications, etc. Security is built into the MQTT. MQTT is persistence. So it retains the previous status stored on the broker. So we are yet to see the terms like broker, client, server, and so on. So you have MQTT SN, which is a specific protocol for sensor networks, which ideally works on top of non-TCP/IP networks protocols such as ZigBee and so on. And MQTT over WebSocket is also possible. And request response message exchange pattern as add-on. Okay, you can, apart from this publish subscribe, you can have message exchange patterns can be incorporated into the MQTT. So before we get into the details, we must understand what is meant by a publish subscribe communication model or a pub sub communication model. So let us see where are these MQTT used. So it can be used in home automation. So I know many students have taken case study use case implementation falling under this home automation segment. So you can see whether you can use MQTT in your application, healthcare, mobile phone apps. So the thing is, wherever you have a very low bandwidth network link and you need to communicate over that from a sensor, MQTT becomes the natural choice. So IoT applications, we use MQTT. It's also used in industrial automation and then automotive sector. Automotive means the communication that happens inside a vehicle between its controlling devices. Okay, now let us get into the publish subscribe model. So we know that publishers are the source of information, subscribers are the receivers of information. So there is a system where the sources will publish and the receivers will subscribe and then get their information. So publish and subscribe is connected by means of what is known as topics. A topic is one which identifies the streams of publication and subscription. So there can be multiple clients connected to a broker and a subscribe to topics that they are interested in. So clients connect to the broker and publish messages. So brokers are sitting in between publishers and subscribers. Okay, so topics are treated as a hierarchy using slash as a separator. For example, let's say there are multiple computers in their hard drive temperature information into a system. So sensor, computer name, temperature / hardware name. So this is a hierarchy. So temperature sensor, and then which computer it is, what is the temperature value, and which is the HDD name. Likewise it goes. So client can receive a message by creating subscription. A subscription may be an explicit topic on which the topic will be specified earlier, or it can be on wildcard. That means all topics related to this, like we use star in the case of commands. So MQTT clients can register as custom last will testament message to send by the broker if they disconnect. So you can inform the broker that I am going to leave the system. So broker need not push the messages along the published subscriber again. Now this is a diagram which shows everything in detail. So there are two types of activities happening: publication, publish, and then subscribe. If you look here, so this is a PM 2.5 sensor. It is publishing some data, and this subscriber is subscribed to that. So PM 2.5 it's a subscribe, so he gets the data 1.7 microgram per meter cube. That details it is getting because this client has subscribed to the PM 2.5 topic. So at the same time, this another one is publishing it as temperature as 25 degree with the temperature sensor. So for those subscribers who have subscribed to topic equal to temperature, they will get that data. So MQTT broker is the one who maps the corresponding subscription to the published data and controls the entire thing. So while implementing MQTT based applications, you will have to use a broker, which could be, as I told you, a free open source broker. Based on that, you can write your client code and server code. So we need to identify what are the published streams from the many, so that the subscriber can identify the stream and get the data from that. Okay. Hope you got an overview of publish, subscribe, and the position of MQTT in the whole protocol stack of IoT. Now let us see some more features of MQTT which makes it even more suitable for IoT when compared to the existing protocols like HTTP and so on. Okay. So before we go into that, let me show you one more diagram which gives you more details. You can have multiple consumers, they are all subscribed to this, and there will be numerous topic 1 subscribes consumer 1, 2, and then topic 2 is for this, and then the publishers will be there, they are sending to the broker. So it becomes the responsibility of the broker to route the subscriptions to the concerned publishers based on the topic. Now some comparisons against MQTT versus HTTP based on the IoT application scenario. So this, you can read this from slide, no need to explain much. You can pause here and read and understand. Now coming to speed, even in 3G networks, MQTT is 93 times faster than HTTP because it's a lightweight protocol. Okay, so there are 3 levels of quality specified as at most, at once, at least once, and exactly once. So at most once, that means it's not that much reliable. You may get it at most once. So at least once, it takes some more effort that it is delivered at least once. Okay, so it's a kind of loose kind of service where you may get replicated messages delivered over and over. So it's become your responsibility to discard the duplicates, whereas exactly once ensures that you get one copy, so that the receiver implementation becomes straightforward. So a lot of options are also provided as part of MQTT. You can pause here and read the slide. Complexity and message size. So MQTT is for IoT. That is a conclusion. So now we are going to see the detailed view of MQTT protocol. So let's have it in the next video. Okay, thank you.